with the heart.
Yeah.
No, this is
Well, why is there a leaf
the
like
one with
here?
the heart.
You can see him better right here. You can't see him that good right here. Up here. That's only one stone.
You see that big building of the other building? Looks like there's lots of stairs and stuff.
Green.
Yeah? I know, it looks kind of dwarfed there. There, and then that, just kind of do a little zoom in the chandelier and Joseph Smith. Do it easy.
Okay.
Go up to the chandelier, easy. Do the ceiling. Easy. Easy. Turn around and get the boys when they come out of the elevator. Not yet. Okay, that's good. You can do this. All this carving and the, do you see all the carving? And the chandelier.
Is that gorgeous or what?
Yeah, it's just so beautiful. It's up there with their
You're
gold.
making baby people sick.
Are there any rooms that do function as like?
The statue is over there? Or you don't either?
They do. These are smart.
You've been doing a lot.
Like where the ship was.
Ooh, that's a close up.
Then we came back here.
Quite a while ago,
Here, these dinner. Yeah.
Mommy, can you lift this up?
Okay.
I need to take one for us to get s'mores. Hello, we're skiing.
Gina. Push
You
your
get
toes
those
down.
boys going down the hill?
Great. Now to stop, you're going to pull your toes up. Great. So now little tiny.
Yeah.
I think she's supposed to sit down actually and wait.
If it starts to have this end go down, push this end to catch up, and then pull up on your toes. Golden?
I don't think my feet do that.
Here comes Caleb. Here comes Caleb down the hill.
There goes Caleb.
There we go, Caleb! Woo! Right there laying down.
Uh-huh.
Get up, Wyatt! Here comes Michelle.
Where?
She's crisscrossing right above Wyatt. You see, Mom? He knows it. He knows her.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, hey, you dropped something. Why just like?
There goes your
Oh
daughter.
no, is she getting on? Oh no! Oh, hang on. Oh, come back in one piece, please.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. After the stitches, there'll be one piece.
Whoa! That's good, Wyatt. Here he comes. Here he comes. There he goes. You seen my daughter anywhere? Have fun.
Going down the hill. That hill right there would be enough bunny hill for me. Hey, have you seen Christy? Did Christy make it down? Oh! Is she doing okay? Woohoo! There he goes. I don't know if that is or not. I don't think that's her.
There's Chris.
Where? I can't see her. Coming down where? With Heidi? The awkward, the one that just fell down?
Uh-huh.
Yay, no, she made it this far. There she goes.
Yay, Chris!
Here comes Heidi. Yay!
Yay!
And really?
Get on that.
Who was that zipper ripper?
Uh-huh.
It's not. Great, Wyatt! Great catch, Bob! How are you doing? How are you?
Should we go down?
Yeah, but you know what? I'm gonna hold on to you, and you.
Keep going that way, you're gonna pull right through it.
I wonder. Oh, what is she?
Yay, Michelle! Yay, Whitey!
Oh, I got. Here comes the wave.
Yay, Whitey!
Oh, she's braver than I am. I could not do anything when I tried to go. You had them right there. They were terrific.
Well, they didn't tell me
Yeah,
nothing.
but
till-
he just called on him the last minute
He
after we
did.
were there.
Well, it was great. I treasure that.
Well, getting back to whose arm was broke and whose leg was bad.
Okay, this is my Uncle Mark. Tell us how old you are.
Well, right now I'm just last January I turned 89, and I'm trying to beat my brother Don. He died 3 months before he was 90, so I go to a doctor just for checkup, and he says he's going to make me to 100. He says he's going to keep me going to 100.
Gosh, all right. Let's keep him to his word. I'm for that.
But anyway, getting back to the arm and the leg. See, my dad was born in 1865 in Providence, Utah. His dad, James Henry Brown I, was born in 1831 in England.
Yes.
James Henry Brown, that's Henry Brown I. There's Henry Brown II, which is my dad's brother.
Right.
James Henry Brown III is my dad's brother's son.
Yeah.
And those people own the Logan Monument Works in Logan, and they're all rock masons and headstone people. Now, James Henry Brown's dad was William Brown, born, I sent you that,
Right.
in 1795, wasn't it?
Yeah.
1795.
Yeah. We're trying to. Yes.
Don't you remember them dates?
Sure. But you know what? There's so many dates for William Brown. We're having a little trouble
Oh,
getting
yeah.
the right
Anyway,
date
they're
on him.
Clear back to England, back in the 17th century, they're all rock masons, sculptors, and headstone people, see?
Artisans.
Yeah, all of them on the Brown side.
Mm.
My dad's brother, James Henry Brown II, went back to Chicago in 1893, Chicago World's Fair, and had a bust of Brigham Young and won first place.
Whoa.
Now this bust the replica is up in the Capitol. It's in the museum of the Church Museum here.
Yeah.
The original is at the Monument Shop in Logan.
Oh my lord.
And I have to think a little.
That's okay.
The museum in Springfield, Illinois has contacted D. Brown, which is my distant relation, to get a replica of this Brigham Young. They want to make a replica and put it in the museum in Springfield, Illinois.
Wow.
So that's a little history on the Brown side.
Yeah, but they were stonemasons, and
All of
that's
them.
how they made his living.
Well, when James Henry Brown came to Utah, 1861, came to where the city and county building is. That's
Yeah, I
where
was
he came.
telling my kids that we were down there. And I was
All right,
telling them.
but they couldn't go to Cache Valley, the Providence, until after the Indian Wars, the Black Hawk War.
Oh.
The Shoshone Indians that was their home, just like this is our home. Here come Brigham Young and Bishop Mon and kicked them all out of Cache Valley. That was their winter home, Cache Valley.
The Indians.
Yeah. Well, there was wars here.
Mm-hmm.
In 1863, that's when this colonel from Fort Douglas went up and massacred all these Indians on the Bear River in 1863.
Oh.
That's Highway 71 west of Preston.
Wow.
And there was Indians there and Indians fighting here, so my grandfather, James Henry Brown I, couldn't go to Cache Valley until they got through this Indian stuff.
Oh.
And that's when he went to Cache Valley in 1864, and that's where your grandpa, my dad, was born in 1865 in Cache Valley. Now, if my dad was sitting here today, he'd be 138 years old. He was 3 months old when Abraham Lincoln was born. He was 4 years old when the two railroads come together at Promontory.
Oh, yeah.
4 years old.
Wow.
Now you can just imagine how
Wow.
old we all are.
And he wasn't a real tall man, was he?
No, he was short and heavy set.
Oh, heavy set?
Grandpa Brown, he could lift 400 pounds of granite stone and nothing to it.
Whew.
He was stout. He was short. And my grandfather, James Henry, could wear his daughter's shoes. He had little feet and little hands. Now the big part comes on my mother's side from the Lloyds.
Oh.
The Lloyds are huge, big men, 6'2", big, heavy.
See, we got a 6'4". We got
Yeah.
we got a son 6'4".
Well, that's the Lloyd side.
Well, it's called goat business.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said 6. But
But
not.
let's get back to the broken arm.
Yeah.
Dad, when he was a young man, probably, he married the mother in 1902. But he worked in the hay, in the baled hay, and they have a baling hook that they stab into a bale of hay and load it. Well, that hook went into his leg right here,
Oh.
and his blood poison set in, and they never could heal it. So he died with this big sore on his leg from blood poison.
Your dad.
My dad.
Well, what about the broken arm?
Right, the broken arm, Dad worked as a monument shop in Logan with a hammer and chiseling headstones. That's for air
Right.
compressors, right?
Right.
For air tools and stuff. Well, he decided he wanted to go selling monuments, so he had a 28 Model T Ford. So he goes around Bear River and Preston and all around Cache Valley, and he tips over in the Model T. It pins his arm and breaks his arm.
Oh,
So he comes back to Logan, and this drunken doctor, I broke mine in playing one time. Same doctor said his arm crooked. Well, no, he couldn't use a chisel and hammer no more.
So he has the bad leg and the broken arm at the same
Broken
time?
arm, his arm was set crooked and all the rest of his life. That didn't bother him, but he couldn't use a hammer and a chisel. So that's the broken arm. He had the broken arm and the bad leg.
So then when did he stop working? And you guys had, the story I remember is my dad had to help from the time he was real young. Is that true or not? That he had to help
Your
support
dad
the
was
family,
all-
or Ruby had to help, or did you have to help? Everybody had to help support the family?
I got out of high school in 1934. Don got out of high school 2 years earlier.
Mm-hmm.
He went to work for J.C. Penney, the old J.C. Penney himself.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Hurricane was the first J.C. Penney. Kemmer, Wyoming was the second.
Hurricane Utah
Yeah.
was the first J.C. Penney?
First. Kemmer was the second.
Didn't you
Logan
learn?
was the third.
Really?
And Don was his salesman at one time.
Oh my goodness.
That's where he started selling.
Oh.
The old J.C. Penney had a little gray mustache.
Uh-huh.
Our mother used to send me up there to get thread for a penny a spool for thread.
Wow.
So that's where Don got his salesman started, was J.C. Penney. Well, he worked, and when he came to Salt Lake, he worked for Keith O'Brien, Arback, all these big stores here as a salesman. Of course, he helped support the family. 1934, as soon as I graduated, they get 2 weeks in high school, you play, don't you? You have fun, and after you graduate. Well, after I graduated, they stuck a shovel in my hand. I went to work for the WPA in place of Dad. Dad couldn't work with a shovel.
Wow.
$14 a week, that went to the family.
Wow.
PWA, WPA, Works Public Administration.
What were you digging?
We cleaned the grass off the sidewalk. We dug the trenches at the AAC College to put in a watering system up there. $14 a week.
Whatever they told you to do, huh?
Yep. And then I went in the CC camps and spent a year. $25 a month went home to the family, and I got 5.
Did you travel with them?
No,
They were
not the
right
CC. It was in Logan. We had a camp in Logan.
Oh, okay.
Then we moved, then we went to Brigham City and built the camp in Brigham City. Then we had our main camp was in Hiram, Blacksmith Park Canyon.
Oh.
That's where I met my first wife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the CC camps,
Oh.
1935.
Wow. Man.
So that's, they all, in fact, when the folks moved to Salt Lake, they were still getting my CC, $25. But when they moved, when they first came down here, they were still getting the checks sent to them.
So when your parents, I read, both died in Salt Lake, so they left Cache Valley at some point and came
35.
down here. Were they living, was someone taking care of them then, or they just living?
Well, they rented a house up on H Street, a great big old house. Jack and Nora lived in one room. Don and Shirley lived in another room.
Really?
Me and my first wife lived in the basement by the furnace. That was the last place left. We had a couch by the furnace.
Oh my goodness.
We all worked. And Deanie was
Y'all were there?
all there in this great big
Oh,
old house.
gosh.
That's where Dean first got married.
Wow, that's interesting. I don't know what you call that.
Huh?
All the children and their wives and the houses together, and I don't know if that would work. No.
Well, it was a huge place.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember Orr and Jack lived up on top.
That's
Me and my
funny.
first wife on the basement.
That's interesting. Well, was your mom healthy?
Oh, yeah.
In her life?
Oh,
Tell it pretty much. After
She,
she raised her kids, and
well, she raised Dad's first kids, and then she raised us kids.
she did.
We went through the Depression, girl. You wouldn't
I know we don't.
you wouldn't realize.
Mm-mm.
We had bread and milk for supper, and bread and milk for dinner, and bread and milk for breakfast, if we was lucky.
Mm.
There was an old flour mill right up there that belonged to a friend of mine who went to school with. I'd go up with this wagon or a sleigh and get a sack of whole wheat and a sack of white, and Mother would mix that and make bread. We had 2 Jersey cows, and we had chickens, and we had a garden.
Wow.
And we had a fruit cellar
Mm.
where you put your fruit down in the wintertime and bottle all your peaches and pears. And
Mm.
we all worked picking beans,
Yeah,
picking apples, and that's the way we lived.
I
Now,
know.
where the Bar Motel is in Logan,
Mhm.
you ever been there?
No.
Well, you go up the little hill there to get into Logan, you know, you go up the little hill and you're right there in town.
Uh-huh.
Well, that whole flat right there at the bottom of that hill is where the Bamberger Electric Railroad freight depot was, and all the freight trains, electric trains. In the wintertime, if we didn't get coal, it all came through the church, the coal came
Yeah.
from Price. I'd go take my little coal bucket and go up the
And
tracks
gather it.
and pick up coal to keep us warm when we run out of coal.
See, I want these stories to tell my daughter that, nowadays kids have it,
They just don't
just
know.
don't have any idea.
They just don't know.
Let's go buy some new shoes. Let's go get this. Let's go get something else.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you had happy times, but I think you guys had a hard time growing up.
Well,
Can you
the
compare?
only main thing was to have something to eat,
That was your, yeah.
to find something to
And
eat.
now we just are so wasteful. But
I dug trenches for the WPA at that agriculture college. So pooped out with just 2 little sandwiches. That's all I'd had to eat all day long. It's a week I couldn't swing a pick.
Golly.
That's why we lived.
But whatever, look how good and healthy you are. So you've done some good
Well,
things
we
in
have-
your life.
We had a dog. I used to go up to the butcher shop and get a bone and some suet.